Hi travelers, Tara here. This is going to be a quick open reading. I have been away, not away, but I don't even know what I've been. So my kid just came back from spring break, and then I got ill a couple of days ago. Not ill, but the pollen count was so high I literally lost my voice. It was a terrible thing. So I'm just kind of getting back on my feet. Website members, I am working on your monthly readings for April. The romance gallery will be posted first, and then I'm going to start working on the individual monthlies. And that, I have completed the new astrology video for you. However, I recorded that thing 5 times only to discover at the very end that I can't just upload it the way that I have it set. I'm going to have to redo something else to it before I can post it. So I have not forgotten that I told you guys that a new video was coming. It's just working out the technical details of it, okay? So just kind of bear with me. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a quick open reading. The messages will not resonate with everyone. That does require a personal reading to get to confirm any details of your story. If you think you'd like to book a reading with me, simply either you can find my website address at the underneath the description of the video or in the about box section, and I will have it posted for you here and there. And I have several readings that I think you can find very affordable. Okay, there's several different reading packages. So with that being said, I was doing some pre-shuffling and meditation, and the Hermit has presented himself. Now, we have a lot of Pisces activity happening, and the house that's opposite Pisces is Virgo. Okay, now what I'm getting just from this one card is 2 things. Either we're looking at, well, 3 things. We're either looking at, because this card represents Mercury, and Mercury will be going retrograde this week. So this could be about the slowing down of that and going inward to review and reassess some things before you get an opportunity to move forward. This could also be a situation in which we're looking at something, a situation that has perhaps been at a standstill for some. The other thing that we are looking at is the idea of someone who's been alone for quite some time. Okay, now male or female, doesn't matter. Oh wow, the 6 of Swords has presented itself. Well, let's put the rest of the cards down. I will show these to you. I'm using a different spread. It looks at blocks. So no matter which situation you find yourself in, either the slowing down of a situation that is already frozen in place, or either you or the person that you're dealing with having been alone and or separated for some time. Here is the 6 of Swords. This is our focus, and so what we're looking at are the blocks and the way out. What is to come up? How is this situation going to free itself? There is the High Priestess. Wow, that's interesting. Here is the 8 of Pentacles, the 3 of Cups, and the 8 of Cups. Now, 2 8s. Last row down, Ace of Wands, 6 of Wands, 2 of Swords, and a 7 of Pentacles. Well, isn't that something? I have 2 6s, 2 8s, and 2 2s. Well, what's underneath the deck? The Queen of Wands. Now, this is either about a fire sign female, or it is about work. It could be about your own ambition and focus and desire, not just in work, but in anything, wherever it is you're trying to go. I have two major arcanas, which are the Hermit and the High Priestess. And interestingly, these two cards are somewhat similar in their energy, in the sense that they are both rather inward focused. However, the difference is with the Hermit is that the Hermit has removed himself from a situation. The High Priestess sits and awaits someone to come to her so that she can impart this information. Now, I want to take a look at, because I'm picking up this message here at the top. Bear with me for a second. Of these three cards, the High Priest, I'm sorry, the Hermit, the Six of Swords, and the High Priestess. I can't even talk. So hold on one second. I want to take a look at particularly the Six of Swords. And I want to give you an interpretation of what it could mean next to the High Priestess. Aha. Which is also a representation of the moon. And interestingly here, we have this eclipsed moon. Now, there are three representations of the moon here. And the moon is ruled by Neptune. And Neptune is the ruler of Pisces. And Pisces is opposite Virgo. The Six of Swords appearing next to the High Priestess may be warning you not to proceed with current plans, as there are some aspects that have not been revealed or considered appropriately. You are asked to wait until you have all of the relevant details. Now, in one way, I think some of you are kind of at a standstill. This is a situation, and right now there's this contemplative energy standing over the whole thing. It is a moment of very, very deep reflection, looking very deeply within and trying to see to not necessarily the truth of the situation, but yeah, to the truth of the situation. Now, because we have these representations of the moon, I'm also going to read what it means when the Six of Swords appears next to the moon. It may be indicating that it would be advisable to be sure of any changes you intend to make, as the full picture is not yet clear. All the details have not yet come together, so it would be beneficial to put things on hold at this time and wait until the time is right. Well, that is the best thing I have ever heard. Now, two sixes speak to justifiable faith and trust in your partner. For some of you, this might not be a romantic situation. This might be a business partnership or a financial partnership of that sort. Okay. Now, I want to take a look at this Eight of Pentacles. I'm going to look at all of these pip cards in relation to how they fall underneath, because this is our way out here. And even this Seven of Pentacles is talking about waiting for the harvest to come in. A decision is looming. This is what I see coming. Okay, there is a decision that you're going to have to make, some of you, a very important decision. And I do feel that it is one that, although you don't, I think perhaps for some of you, you have the understanding that this, whatever this thing is, it can indeed alter your life. It can change your life. Everything about your life on all levels. There's coins, there's cups, there's wands, there's swords, there's these two spiritual cards, right? But there's still something about it that we aren't sure, not necessarily aren't sure about. I think we, in one respect, because a High Priestess typically always knows the answer, whether she will share that she knows it, but she's a very, very intelligent, very intuitive individual, highly attuned to the psychic energies around her. Okay, so I don't feel that this is a situation in which you don't know what you want to do. I think it may come down to not knowing exactly how it's going to play out. Okay. And if the rewards are going to be what, I don't feel there's a risk. Will the rewards be what you have put into it? You see, we go from an 8 to a 7, so that lets me know there's some offer here. It's a lot of times not what's here, okay? It's what's not here. And I want you to look at this. Between the 2 of Swords and the 6 of Swords, that leaves us a 4 of Swords. So we're looking at a time out, so to speak, a time to take a step back. This keeps coming through. It does not mean that you are not able perhaps to engage or to continue working on those things, refining. This is a Mercury retrograde. I think that it would behoove you to do that. But at the same time, we are also dealing with some kind of disappointment or loss. A 3 of Cups to an 8, that's a 5 of Cups. So this may be something that we're dealing with from the past, some emotional readjustment, some disappointment, trying to regather ourselves, okay, before we move forward. So this may be an 8-week wait, okay, in terms of actually seeing the gains materialize for you, okay? So, I'm looking at this 8 of Pentacles here. And this is the card of the apprentice. Keep working. It says the 8 of Pentacles appearing next to the High Priestess is a cautionary warning to remain focused and to not become complacent or careless in regards to business and finances. Things may seem to be going to plan at the moment, but you are to stay vigilant. Well, I have never heard. Let's see, what else does it say? Now, I'm also going to read to you because, again, we have this idea of the moon floating around with these moon cards. That's going to give us that Hanged Man kind of Neptune energy. The 8 of Pentacles appearing next to the Hanged Man is asking you to have no fear and do not be afraid to pursue your goals. It is a most auspicious time to do so, so make the most of it. So in other words, it's like a mixed message kind of a thing. The cards are telling you to be wary, to be cautious, to remain focused and determined and vigilant, right, before you actually sign anything on the dotted line or move completely forward into whatever this thing is. But it's telling you, nevertheless, to do not be afraid to go after what it is that you want. And I think, in a sense, this card is kind of giving a respite while you kind of work things out, or things are being worked out on a different plane. Because, you know, it may not necessarily be you. It could be the other person's free will that's involved. Now, let's take a look at the 2 8s. The 2 8s speak to a slight concern in regards to a new romance, relationship, or partnership. There it is. The 3 of Cups always, to me, represents some kind of new partnership. It also represents the idea of celebrations. So while you may be feeling emotionally jubilant and very happy and very pleased and extremely excited, and the energy around whatever this thing is bodes to be very well, we're dealing with the 5 of Cups between these two. And we see the 8 of Cups here. Now, let me take a look for you at this 3 of Pentacles, I'm sorry, 3 of Cups, to see if it tells us anything next to the High Priestess and or the Hermit or any of these other cards. No. So we're going to move to the 8 of Cups. And I ran across an interpretation of the 8 of Cups in a book that I have that I had never read before. So I'm going to share that with you. And this could be some kind of timing. You know, we have that second full moon coming up. Okay. Now, it speaks of a new interest coming into your life. A new personal relationship or new knowledge gain. It is an indication that plans of the past may not be relevant. So you might have to make new plans. Okay. It speaks to positive changes within your personal relationships and an overall improved perspective in many areas of your life. Sometimes it is speaking of letting go entirely. And that's that Five of Cups, of having to let go of any of the past emotional baggage that you're carrying. Now, if this is not you, this is somebody that you're dealing with, okay? Most definitely somebody that you're dealing with. We have this solitary, and this is what's interesting. What I'm looking at is a man who's a single man who's been alone, and a woman who is a single woman who has been alone. Okay? Whereas he is more not of the world. She is not of the world, but she is in it. Okay? And I don't know if that made any sense, what I just said, but that's what I was told to tell you. I would think that the man would be someone who might, for all intents and purposes, seem a difficult nut to crack. Even just looking at him, he might have this facade of being someone who is maybe tough and austere. It's not a Saturn energy. It's just someone who is, and not necessarily somebody who's on guard, but someone who's perhaps presents as a rather aloof individual. Well, she's somewhat aloof as well, but it's a different kind of aloofness. She is aloof in her own feminine energy. And I think she is quite seductive to people. She's like a mystery. And we see that this ship is sailing into her. Okay? That's what this boat is sailing in. Now, it talks about the Eight of Cups, positive changes within your personal relationships and bringing you a stress-free, harmonious time. It asks you to, the only solution is to let go, regardless of how much energy or effort has been put into it. If it's still not working, the only option is to abandon it. Do not waste any more of your time and effort. And so for some of you, this is going to play out that if you've been waiting on this person to come out of this particular energy, and you've been waiting and waiting and waiting, okay? For some of you, the answer is that you have to let that go now in order to pick up whatever this is that's coming. Some of you don't see it, and some of you may think that it's never going to happen because you're not seeing any movement, I guess, on a third dimension. But it's asking you to be patient. Now, the other meaning that I read of the Eight of Cups was the, I don't know what book I was reading that. I have a ton of tarot books. But one of the other meanings of the tarot cards was that if you've been waiting, of the Eight of Cups, is if you've been waiting on a message to arrive, one that's been a long time in coming, it may be on its way. Not only that, but this also speaks to perhaps taking a long journey. Now, this could be a metaphorical journey or it could be a literal journey. All right. Now, here we have the Ace of Wands, and aces are potential. They speak to new creative energy, new ideas. It also speaks to sex and sexual attraction. That is a phallic symbol. So this could be, in one sense, speaking to perhaps a fire sign male. I don't normally get that with aces, what a sex, but that really is what just came through. Now, here I have the Six of Wands. And let me see if the Six of Wands tells me anything next to any of these cards, okay? I think there's still some unknowns about this. But the key, again, is not to lose your head and not to stop doing whatever it is that you're doing and waiting around. And if you've already been doing that, then it's time for you to stop. The Six of Wands appearing next to the High Priestess. Not next, but these cards hold sway and influence. Indicates that a time is coming up where you may be intrigued and interested in the metaphysical spiritual realm. It tells that it is important to seek out more knowledge of the metaphysical study. Now, I don't think this is you. I think this is the male that you're dealing with. This is really what I'm picking up. That this may be somebody who, see, he's a scholar, a learned scholar. Whereas her information comes to her on a different plane, okay? In a different way. Virgo is more logic-based, right? And she's more emotion-based. And we can see, again, this Six of Swords, someone leaving whatever this is. Let me show you. This man is leaving this. He's deciding that he's going to leave. He may even be considering, he may be a single dad. If not necessarily a metaphorical move, a literal move. This is a metaphorical move, but it's one that's at the moment highly mental for him. Okay? And he is approaching this female who operates on a completely different plane. But yet they are more alike than they realize. Does that make any sense? Okay, now, Two of Swords. And then we're going to pull a few cards on this, Sibilas. And then we're going to close it out with an Angel Answer card. Two of Swords. And we already know that this is the card, the bamboozled or the hoodwink card. I don't know. Is a person lying to me? Or sometimes it speaks to me of an understanding that hasn't become clear yet. That's what Swords, thoughts, perceptions, beliefs, ideas, communication, understanding, communication. And this is something that hasn't been revealed yet. And so for the moment, everything is in the air. Twos do speak to a balance, no matter how you look at it. Now, let's see, the Two of Swords. Again, we're getting this idea of the Moon card. It is asking you not to become anxious or stressed, as this can adversely affect your health. Maintain a positive perspective and attitude. It tells you not to allow your imagination to inflate your concerns. It is advised that you think positively, as worry and anxiety can adversely affect your health. Well, that's really good information. Two twos. Now remember, I had 2 6s, 2 8s. 2 6s, justifiable trust and faith. 2 8s, a slight concern. 2 8s can also mean that there is a news that will affect the relationship. 2 2s tell of a commitment or an engagement, and not just necessarily from a romantic standpoint, but I think for a lot of you this is looming, and I don't even think some of you kind of know it. I think a lot of you are worried about it. And for the Seven of Pentacles, you know, some of you may be waiting around on some guy to be asking you to marry him for the longest time, and it's been 5, 6 years and he ain't done it. If he ain't done it by then, I wouldn't hold my breath. He's getting all the benefits of a marriage without actually making it legal. Right? There's no indication of anything about this Seven of Pentacles. Now, I do feel quite strongly that this situation is a thawing situation. And the reason why I say that is we start with all these kind of cold cards at the top, and then we're making our way down into these warmer cards. And that's the energy that's, well, look at that. I just happened to see that. Remember that message that I was talking to you about? There's a message coming for some of you. For some, it's going to be financial. For some, I do think this could be the idea or the possibility of some kind of engagement or commitment. Now, you know, even a signing a new career contract is a commitment, and not everybody, I understand, is interested in the romantic sphere. A lot of you may, your love life just may be right the way you want it, but your work isn't. Okay, and this could be the representative of the Wands. Again, as I say, everybody's story is different. This is general, and to get real insight into whatever's happening for you or whatever your concerns are, that requires a personal reading. 2 2s, harmonious changes, communications, and the need to make a choice. Remember, I told you there is a decision that is coming up. 2 6s, for some of you, this could be issues surrounding equality affecting the relationship. And I've given you the 2 8s. So what I said initially, that this is a major decision coming up for some of you, no matter whether it is romance or the idea of starting a family or not, the idea of moving for work, signing a new contract or commitment for your job, focusing on your finances, taking your stuff to the next level. There are decisions, major decisions that are coming up for a lot of you. Only you know what that is. Some of you don't see an outcome or don't see an end, and I don't think some of you have faith. I think this full moon, which will be occurring in Libra, is going to be highly significant. That is the house of partnerships. Marriages, business partners, blended families. It's going to be highly significant. And if I'm not mistaken, that's going to be falling at 23 Libra. And it will be in the sky all by itself. A full moon always opposes the sun. So that means that the sun is going to be in the first house of Aries, you know, that just went into Aries yesterday. And so whenever there is the moon opposes the sun, the moon is on the far side. So it's not, we don't get the light. We can't see. We don't, no, that's not what I mean. What I mean is that it's an opposition. And a lot of times it's going to be a public opposition versus a private opposition, or it's going to be an internal conflict versus an external conflict. It will most definitely involve a partnership, past, present, potential partnership, okay, enemy, rival, or foe, business, familial, or romantic. So I think this moon is going to be highly important and will trigger some things. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that everything that you want to know is going to be revealed, but it's going to trigger some things for you. So if you have your chart from me, look up where 23 Libra falls. See what else sits next to it, what sits opposite it. Now, there's that letter that we've been waiting on. But look at what is attached to it. For some of you, this is going to be the realization that the situation you find yourself in, you will have to walk away from it. You have put in enough time and effort. This is hidden intentions and deceptions and lies. Over here we have the domestico. This can sometimes be the man returning. It can also, he is supposed to help, but he's also known as a collaborator, right? And in other words, this could be a work partner, but he could also be doing things for his own ulterior motives. But I do feel that there's some news that may be coming. Now, I don't know if this person is going to be the bearer of this news, or if the news will be coming from this individual. That's what I don't know. Now, either way, those first messages of do not move ahead too quickly, because there's some things that you don't know, that haven't come to light yet. And don't allow anybody else to try to get you off track from where it is you're trying to go. Because if they're, it could be they're trying to distract you for ulterior purposes. Okay? Two of Swords. Isn't that something? Well, on the card of indecision, impartiality, and things being at a standstill, like a stalemate, pleasant conversations, Dinari. Dinari not only denotes safety and security, it also denotes finances. And here is trust. The single man, it ends right where it started. Okay. Now, the only thing that's missing in this trio of cards would be the Limoneo and the Casa, which is an indication that there is some kind of commitment coming. On what level? I don't know. In what area of life? Only you know that. Now, Wow. Let's formulate one angel answer question. I don't know. There's definitely some news coming, and there are going to be some kind of new opportunities for gain. I don't know how that's going to and it all says it's perfect timing. Wow, isn't that something? Okay, so let's see. This is the perfect timing for the situation you've asked about. Move forward with confidence. Don't delay or hesitate, because an energy gateway is presently open for you. Conditions are ripe. Even if you don't feel prepared, rest assured that you are. Now, the only thing I can tell you is that with the Mercury retrograde, if you have to sign anything, double check it, take it to a professional, let them look over it, scrutinize it before you sign it. For others of you, if you have to, if you can hold off, try to as best you can. That falsita, in a way, it's kind of weird because the collaborator is a negative card and that other card is a negative card, and it's almost like they cancel each other out. So, I don't know. That's what I have for you. I hope those messages help. Again, you can find my website address right there. Come on over and check out the readings. And I do hope to read for some of you. Till next time, namaste.